All right, this is lesson 3-6.2. We're dealing with factoring trinomials where the lead coefficient is 1, is not 1, a little bit alternative method, and then we're going to also factor by substitution. So these are all different ways to factor trinomials. One thing that I made for you is this chart. You can find it in your course, or if you want, I can email it to you. But anyway, it's a combination multiplication. That's what the top numbers are. And addition in the upper right-hand corner and subtraction in the lower left-hand corner. So if you take 9 times 5 is 45, 9 plus 5 is 14. 9 times 5 on the negative side is negative 45, and 9 minus 5 is 4. 5 minus 9 is negative 4, so that's why there's a plus and minus sign there. We are going to use those facts because to factor a trinomial, we're going to use ones where the sum is the middle coefficient and the product is the last coefficient. So you're going to have situations where you're going to have to add and multiply, or multiply and add, or multiply and subtract. Let's look at this one. If you notice, the add part is 9, the multiply part is 20. So we're looking for 9 and 20, and there they are. They're at the corner of 4 and 5. So a plus 5 times a plus 4, that's the factored form of that trinomial. And if you work that out, you will find, multiply it out, you get a squared, that's the first, outside is plus 4a, inside is plus 5a, last is plus 20, 4a and 5a is 9a. So this is the factored form of that polynomial. This one, notice we're looking for two numbers that multiplied equal 10. We're on the positive side and are 7 apart. Here they are. The difference is 2 and 5. The difference is that it's going to be subtracting because this sign is negative. B minus 5, B minus 2. And those two multiply out to be b squared minus 7b plus 10. Now in this case, you've got a negative sign, so you'll be working below the line, a positive sign, so you'll be working above the line. Okay, so the first one, we want them 1 apart. That's right here. And in the second case, 32 and 12 is right here. Okay, so for the first ones, it's t minus 6, t plus 5. Now the difficulty is knowing which one to make negative and which one to make positive when you're down here. The way I do it is I look at this sign. This sign goes with the bigger number. 6 is bigger than 5, so the negative sign goes there. And when you multiply out, you do get t squared minus 6t plus 5t minus 30, and you'll notice you do have a negative number there. I'm going to change colors here. When we do this one up here, and we get w, and we're at the corner of 4 and 8, w plus 4, w plus 8. Okay, now we're looking multiplied equal negative 5 and are 3 apart. Well, here's a 5 and 4, negative 5, right? That's the only negative 5 there is in the whole table, is right there, and that has to be the middle term is 4. So this one is prime because it doesn't have a 3, it has a 4 in the table. Same thing here, we're at negative 11, but that's positive 10 it's supposed to be. That's the only place negative 11 appears. in the table, so that's why that one's prime. Okay. Now, when you get to a problem like this, it's still the same. The difference is that we've got two letters, P and Q. But the number part is easy. We're looking for the 6 and 5. Multiplied equals 6, added equals 5. It's way up there in the corner, and that's at the corner of 2 and 3. So it's P plus 2Q, P, oops, I'm sorry, it's minus. I didn't see the negative sign here. P minus 3Q. And then when you multiply that out, you do get P squared minus 5PQ plus 6Q. I don't think there's anything else that's difficult about that problem. We'll go on to the next one. Okay, we're in this corner right here, negative 20, positive 1. So we have a 5b, a 4b. Now the question is, where is the plus sign and where is the minus sign? Well, the bigger one is plus, so the 5 is bigger than 4, so that's why the 5 is plus. So basically what I did is I filled in the 4 blanks, and then I put the sign in last. Now, sometimes we'll have a common factor we have to factor out first. 3a cubed plus 12a squared minus 15a. We can factor 3a out of everything, and we're left with a squared plus 4a minus 5. So now we're on the negative side. Negative 5, 4 apart is right there. And so our choices are 1 and 5. A plus 5, because the bigger one is positive. A minus 1. And then remember the 3a out front. Okay. Factor out a 5w first. Out of 5w cubed minus 40w squared plus 60w, and you get w squared minus, oops, that's supposed to be 40, 8w plus 12. So we're looking at the corner of 12 and 8. I'm going to change colors here so that you can see where I am. 12 and 8 is right there. So that's at the corner of 6 and 2, w minus 6, w plus 2. And then remember the 5w out front. Okay, you try this one. Well, you can first of all factor a 2 out of everything, and you're left with x squared minus 6x plus 8. So we're looking at the corner of 8 and 6. 8 and 6. It's behind one of our corners here, or it's behind our problem. It's right back here. 8 and 6 is in this box right here. And so it's at the corner of 2 and 4. So it's 2 parentheses x minus 4, x minus 2. Okay. Now, when it's not, when the quadratic term is not 1, we have a different process that we go through. Before we can factor it, we still use our factoring table, but the difference is we multiply those two, the first and last terms together, 60, and we're looking for that as the middle term. So we're looking for 60 and 19. Let's see, 60 and 19. Where is it? 60 and 16, 60 and 17. I don't see 60 and 19 on here. Where is it? Come on. What two numbers multiplied equals 60, added equal 19? 4 and 15. Oh, that's why it's not on this chart. It's a little bit farther down. So this chart doesn't help us with all of them. Sometimes we have to come up with them on our own. What two numbers multiplied equals 60 and added equal 19? 15 and 4. Notice our chart only goes down to 12. So this chart won't help us with everything, will it? Okay, so what we're going to use these two numbers for is to split that negative 19. We're going to split it into negative 15k minus 4k. Bring down the plus 10, bring down the 6k squared, and now we can factor by grouping. Can factor a 3k out of the first two, and we're left with 2k minus 5. Factor a negative 2, see that negative sign, out of the second two, and we're left with 2k minus 5. So our factored form, when we get done here, I'm going to switch colors, is 2k minus 5, that's one of the factors, and then 3k minus 2 is the other factor. Okay, so when you see a lead coefficient here that's not 1, you have to multiply the first and the last together to get what two numbers multiplied, but then what two numbers added is used just to split up this middle term. Okay, 8 and 3 is negative 24 and 10 apart. Negative 24, 10 apart is right there. So we use that to split this middle term. 8y squared minus 10y minus 3. We're going to split it into negative 12y positive 2y. 12 and 2, that's how you split it. And if you notice, negative 12y plus 2y is negative 10, so that's worked out. And we put if you have a choice, put the plus sign in the middle so that you don't have to worry about changing this sign back here at the end. So let's factor it. We can take a 4y out of the first two, and we're left with 2y minus 3. We can only take a 1 out of the second two, and we're left with 2y minus 3. So our factored form is 2y minus 3, 4y plus 1. And when we multiply those two together, we get 8y squared plus 2y minus 12y minus 3, which is 8y squared minus 10y minus 3. Okay. When you see the lead coefficient, multiply those two to see how to split the middle term. 60 and 16 is right here. So 15y squared plus 16y plus 4. We split the middle term into plus 6 plus 10y. And we can now factor it. So out of these two, take a 3y, we're left with 5y plus 2. Take a 2, and we're left with 5y plus 2. Take a 5y plus 2 out front, we're left with 3y plus 2. Okay. What they're talking about is the alternative form. the factoring by grouping. The other way that they talk about factoring is by guessing. I've never been much of a guesser. I would much rather just have them be things that I can show to be true. So multiply those two is 30 and 17. Here's 30 and 13, 30 and 11. 30 and 17 isn't on here because it's what two numbers multiplied equal 30 and added equals 17 is 15 and 2. So we have 10x squared plus 17x plus 3 splits into 15x plus 2x. Okay. Factor out of 5x out of the first two, we're left with 2x plus 3. Factor 1 out of the second two, we're left with 2x plus 3. So our factored form is 5x plus 1, 2x plus 3. I'm going to do the other one in a different color. This is negative 30. Negative 30 and 13. Here's negative 30 and 7. That's not it. Negative 30 and 13 is actually 15 and negative 2. So we're going to factor that, and we can take a 3r out of the first one, so we're left with 2r plus 5, factor a negative 1 out of the second one, so we're left with 2r plus 5. Our factored form is 2r plus 5, 3r minus 1. Okay, you do this one. 60 and 19, here's 60 and 17, 60 and 16. 60 and 19 isn't on here because it's 15 and 4. Factor a 5r out of the first one, so we're left with 2r plus 3. Factor 2 out of the second one, so we're left with 2r plus 3. So our factored form is 5r plus 2 times 2r plus 3. Ooh, missed one. So, use the FOIL method. All right. Multiply those two as negative 30 and 7 apart. Negative 30 and 7 apart is right there. So we're going to 6m squared plus 7mn minus 5n squared. We're going to use this to split up the middle term into minus 3mn plus 10mn. Notice we put the plus sign in the middle when we can. Okay, we can factor a 3m out of the first two. We're left with 2m minus n. Factor 5 out of the 5n out of the second ones. We're left with 2m minus n. So our factored form is 2m minus n, 3m plus 5n. And 21, and I even need a calculator to figure out what 12 and 21 multiply out to be. 12 times 21 is 252. 252 is not going to appear on this chart. It's too small a chart. So what we need to do is start using our noggins. And the way to do that is if this sign is negative, we can ask apart. So we're looking for numbers that are 19 apart. Well, if we take 20 times 39. Those are 19 apart, but that's 780. That's much too big. Let's try 10 times 29. That also is too big, 292. So let's try 9 times 18 is 100. No, 9 times 28, excuse me. 9 times 28 is 252. So we have 12a squared minus 19ab minus 21b squared. And our two numbers are negative 28ab, positive 9ab, minus 21b squared, 12a squared. Okay. Factor a 4a out of the first one, so we're left with 3a minus 7b. Factor a 3b out of the second one, so we're left with 3a minus 7b. So our factored form is 3a minus 7b, 4a plus 3b. And that is our factored form. That one was a hard one. It's nice when they give you the choices, but let's do it. We'll take 200 or 20 times 40 is 800. We're looking for numbers that multiplied equal 800 and added equal 57. We know for sure one of them's got to end in a 5. So let's take 800 divided by 25 is 32. 25 and 32 is 57. So that is how we split up the middle term. Excuse me. So we've got 20m squared plus 57mn plus 40n squared. And we're going to split this up into 25mn plus 32mn and plus 40n squared and 20m squared. Okay, we can factor a 5m out of the first one, so now we're left with 4m plus 5n. Factor an 8 out of the second one's 8n, and we're left with 4m plus 5n. So our factored form is 4m plus 5n, and we're left with 5m plus 8n. And which one is that? This one, B. Okay. This is negative 24. Negative 24 and 5. Negative 24 and 10. Negative 24 and 2. It's got to be one more negative 24 in here someplace. Now let's try up here. 24 and 5. Here we go, right here. Okay. Now, if this is a negative sign, sometimes what we do is rewrite it as negative parentheses 2p squared plus 5p minus 12. Get the negative sign out front. Now we can split the middle term, and we get, let's see, 8 and 3, so negative 3p plus 8p minus 12, 2p squared. Okay. So factor a p out of the first one, so we're left with 2p minus 3. Factor 4 out of the second one, so we're left with 2p minus 3. So our factored form is 2p minus 3 times p plus 4 times negative 1. Now, some people don't like that negative 1. I'm not worried about that. So for this one, rewrite it without the negative sign. Remember, this times this is 90. No, it isn't. It's 120. 120 is what two numbers multiplied equal 120 are 22 apart, right there, or added equal 22. So we're going to split that into minus 10x minus 22x. And remember, when you take this negative sign, that changes that to a positive sign. So we've got 2x, 4x minus 5, minus, oh, this is supposed to be a 12 here, minus 3, 4x minus 5. We have to change that sign. So we've got a 4x minus 5, a 2x minus 3, and remember this negative sign out front. Same thing with the negative sign out front. 49x squared plus 14x minus 15. We have to take 49 times 15, and we get 735. What two numbers multiplied equals 735 are 14 apart. Well, we know one of them's got to end in a 5, so let's try dividing it by 25. That didn't come out evenly. Let's try 735 divided by 15 is 49. That didn't work out. Let's try 735 divided by 35 is 21. Those two, 35 and 21, are 14 apart. So it'll be minus minus 21x plus 35x minus 15, 49x squared. Take a 7x out of the first ones. We're left with 7x minus 3. Take a 5 out of the second ones. We're left with 7x minus 3. So our factored form is negative 7x minus 3, 7x plus 5. Okay, sometimes, remember, we can factor out, and in this case we can factor a 2m out front, and we're left with 2m squared plus m minus 3. What two numbers multiplied equals 6 are 1 apart, right there. So factor that into minus 2m plus 3m minus 3, 2m squared. Factor 2m, and you're left with m minus 1. Factor 3, you're left with m minus 1. So we have m minus 1, 2m plus 3, and 2m. Don't forget the 2m that we factored out front at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to factor a 3y out of these, and we're left with 4y squared plus 11y minus 3. What two numbers multiplied equal 12 are 11 apart. There they are. So minus y plus 12y minus 3, 4y squared. Can factor a y out of the first one, so we're left with 4y minus 1. Factor a 3 out of the second one, so we're left with 4y minus 1. So we have 4y minus 1, y plus 3, and don't forget the 3y out front. Okay, let's factor a 9 out of this, and we're left with 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. These two multiplied equal 8, and are 7 apart, which is 8 and 1, so minus 8x plus x minus 4, 2x squared. Now I could have put the 1 here in front of it, but I don't like to put in that lead coefficient. Factor a 2x out of the first one, so we're left with x minus 4. Factor a 1 out of the second one, so we're left with x minus 4. So we have x minus 4 times 2x plus 1, and don't forget the 9. Sometimes it's easier if we substitute. Notice, instead of, let's call z plus 5 u. Then we've got 8u squared minus 2u minus 3. What two numbers multiplied equal negative 24 are 2 apart. Here they are, 6 and 4. So we'll split that into minus 6u plus 4u minus 3, 8u squared. Factor a 2u out of the first two, we're left with 4u minus 3. Factor 1 out of the second one, so we're left with 4u minus 3. So our factored form is 2u plus 1 times 4u minus 3. But remember that u is z plus 5. So 2 times z plus 5 plus 1, and 4 times z plus 5 minus 3. So let's multiply this out. We get 2z plus 10 plus 1 is plus 11. And 4z plus 20 minus 3 is plus 17. 4z plus 20 minus 3 is plus 17. So that's the factored form. Okay, you do this one. So the first thing to do is to say u equals a plus 2. So then we have 3u minus 11u minus 4 multiplied equal negative 12, and are 11 apart. There they are, 12 and 1. So minus 12u plus u. Okay, so take a 3u out of the first one, so we're left with u minus 4. Take a 1 out of the second one, so we're left with u minus 4. So we have 3u plus 1 times u minus 4. But we have to remember that u is a plus 2, so 3 times a plus 2 plus 1 is one factor, and a plus 2 minus 4 is the other factor. So this is 3a plus 6 plus 1 is 3a plus 7. This is a minus 2, so that's a minus 2. Those are our factored forms. Okay, this one's a little bit more difficult because you see you've got that a plus b is our, let u equal a plus b. Well, hold it. We can take an a plus b squared out of everything. A plus b squared out of everything, and we're left with a squared minus ab minus 6b squared. So we don't need a substitution in this case because we can just factor this. What two numbers multiplied equals 6 are 1 apart. It's underneath here. It's 2 and 3. So minus 3ab, a minus 3b, a plus 2b. We aren't splitting the middle term. We're just a plus b squared. That's this one right here. Okay. Let's see this one. Multiplied equal 30, and our added equal 13. 30. Here's 30 and 11. That's not it. That's the only place I see 30 on the top part. So this one, no, 3 and 10 should be 30 also. Where is it? 20, there they are. Okay, so let r squared equal u. So we have 6u squared minus 13u plus 5, and we're going to split that up into minus 10u minus 3u plus 5, 6u squared. So we can factor a 2u out of the first one, so we're left with 3u minus 5, minus 1 times 3u minus 5. So our factored form is 2u minus 1 times 3u minus 5. But u is r squared, so it's 2r squared minus 1, 3r squared minus 5. Same here, we'll let x squared equal u. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 and 9, that's not it. 18 and 11 is what we're looking for. 18 and 11 is right there. Okay, so we split it up into 9u plus 2u plus 3, 6u squared. Okay, factor out a 3u, and we're left with 2u plus 3. Factor out a 1, and we're left with 2u plus 3. So our factored form is 2u plus 3 times 3u plus 1. But u is x squared, so let's rewrite that as 2x squared plus 3, 3x squared plus 1. And the last one. We can factor a z squared out of everything, and we're left with 27z z to the 6th plus, oh, we can factor a 3 z squared out of everything. We're left with 9 z to the 6th plus 54 divided by 3 is 18 z to the 3rd plus 8. So we're looking for 72 and 18. 72 and 17, I see. 72 and 18, there it is. So that's 6 and 12. So plus 12z, oh, we'll say z cubed equals u. 12u plus 6u plus 8, 9u squared. Okay. So we can factor 3u out of the first one, so we're left with 3u plus 4. Factor a 2 out of the second one, so we're left with 3u plus 4. So our factored form is 3u plus 4 times 3u plus 2, but u is z cubed. So when we get all done, we've got 3z squared out front, 3z cubed plus 4, 3z cubed plus 2. And that's this one right here.